Secret number 2. Your clients already exist. You just have to pull them in. When I figured this out, I totally changed my perspective about marketing and the feeling that I had that it was so difficult to create a client base, because we've always used the term create a client base. The idea that you have to create it made me always feel that this is something that is very difficult. But when I came to change my perspective that the clients already exist, they are already using another service which they are not 100% satisfied with, and they might be looking for another solution. And the best way to attract those people who would be satisfied by your service is to implement these little hooks and pull them in to your service so that you are able to provide them the satisfaction that they desire, to give them the solution they've been looking for. And just by changing this perspective, I came up with this strategy that I'm about to share with you. I did implement this strategy in my first business 15 years ago, and it worked with me perfectly. It works until today, and I did implement it in my course creation as well. The strategy is called a pull marketing strategy. Now realize that there are two types of strategies. There is a push strategy, and that's where you just push your offer in front of as many clients as you can. And then there is a pull strategy. The pull strategy is typically where you attract your clients by sharing content that fills the gaps that they're looking to fill, by sharing information, offers, stuff that excites them and attracts them to you. A great way to think about it, and I borrow this analogy from David Qaqish from the 99 Kitab. Picture that you are in a park and there's this little kid, and the little kid wants to feed the birds. So he's holding the breadcrumbs in his hand and he keeps running after the birds and he wants to feed them, and the birds would just fly away. Now, look to the other side where you will see the old man sitting, opening his hand, and in his hand there are breadcrumbs, and the birds come to him to eat from the breadcrumbs. This is exactly what it's like to use a pull marketing strategy. Using your content and using your online presence and all your marketing efforts to pull your right clients so that they come to you. And when they come to you, they come ready. And of course, there is a way to do it. Now, how to do it in this presentation, I'm going to share with you how you would be able to apply a pull marketing strategy. And the thing about strategy is that strategy takes a long time to prove right or wrong. You guys know that I've done strategy in my MBA, and that's the thing about strategy. You can design your own strategy, but the best way is probably take a proven strategy and implement it. This way, you don't have to wait at least 5 years to see if the strategy is working or not. That's why I think one of the highest values that I bring in my programs, that I am already sharing strategies that have worked, so that you don't need to go through trial and error. And please, if you are going to implement a strategy, implement the full strategy. You can't just be watching free videos and go like, okay, I'll take a strategy from A and a strategy from B and a strategy from C, and I will combine them, and then you'd be surprised that they're not working. Of course, they're not going to work, because if you are going to follow a strategy, follow a full strategy, because there are so many elements that could go wrong. So with that being shared with you, you know very well that the value of what I'm about to share with you now is really high, because this strategy is working, and I'm going to detail it to you. If you have any questions about it, drop it down to me in the comments field. Let's begin with this. A pull marketing strategy. The first element when you are to create a pull marketing strategy is to disturb. If you are pushing your content out every 1 month or every 2 weeks, you push a little piece of content, then you are going about it wrong. A disturbing strategy is necessary in the marketplace, especially if you're starting out new, because the marketplace is very noisy. So you need not only to match that noise, but to differentiate yourself and to disturb. Disturb either with a new idea or with something that is provoking people or with volume. One of the biggest figures who is super successful with the disturbing marketing strategy is Grant Cardone. You will know he's disturbing because if you've seen him, probably at the beginning he did disturb you. He's using a lot of annoying videos, like he would just disturb you, like, oh, you're poor, you're not doing enough, you need to do more, 10x, 10x, 10x. And in fact, his personality is very different from the marketing strategy that he's using. Like if you will attend his classes, you'll find like this is a nice guy, but his marketing strategy is built upon disturbing. And when I first started with speaking about passive income, I remember people would come to me and they would be like, why do you call it passive income? You can just say money. Like, what are these videos that you are creating? And this, for me, was one of the biggest signs that, yeah, they're being disturbed by the new idea. Someone is talking about something outside your comfort zone and posting these videos and continuously talking about it. And now you recognize that person and you're like, okay, so what is going on? What are you talking about? Disturbing is absolutely essential and important, especially if you are new to the market, because unless you disturb, people are not going to listen to you. Now, there are different ways to disturb. I mentioned this, but I'm going to repeat it again. You could either disturb by the volume that you push out or by doing something controversial. So you annoy people, or by even introducing a new idea. You'll be surprised how people will be disturbed by a new idea, by an opinion, by standing out. All these things are great for disturbing. The second element, and I love to call this I see you, client-focused relationship marketing. Kind of like the movie Avatar, but in Avatar they said I see you, meaning I love you. And here, I mean, I see you as if I know you. So the content that you are using need to reflect that you know your clients, you understand them, you understand their pain. A lot of times we are looking for somebody to understand us, and we're fishing for those people, and most people feel that they're not being understood. So when you are able to validate the internal dialogue that goes in your client's mind, because you understand them, and remember, you have been in their place 3 to 5 years ago. So you are able to understand the internal dialogue that they are going through. You know that they're disturbed. You know that they are sad, and you know that they are frustrated. You know that they're looking for. So the I see you kind of content is the content that has to be purposely designed to show your client that you understand them, you see them, you get their pain points, so that they start to trust you. If someone understands me, they go like, oh yeah, I know how you feel at that moment. I know that you're frustrated and you want something fast and you have no time because you've got other responsibilities. You need this passive income to start coming now, and you're willing to do whatever it takes for it. You just don't know how. And you need somebody to help you and guide you in some easy way. If someone would have told me this 2 years ago, this would have been so valuable to me. I would have said, please guide me. I am ready. Let's do it. And then I guess it would have been a perfect time for them to sell me their online course. But anyway, that was like a few years back. And the idea is that when you show that you understand your client, they are willing to trust you and to follow the solution that you come with, which results in a sale as well in a long-term relationship. Also remember that your past self 3 to 5 years ago is your ideal client. That disturbance and that frustration is probably what has created the service or the product that you are selling today. And that's why you are the best one to sell it. You realize where it all came from. And I want to mention here Sarah Blakely, the self-made female billionaire who took 5,000 in saving and transformed it into 500 million a year company called Spanx. If you don't know Spanx, Spanx is selling body shapes and underwears for women. And Sarah was a frustrated woman, like a normal woman, like most other women who just wanted to wear white trousers and look decent in it. She didn't want that cellulite or the extra fat to show. She just wanted to look decent in her white trousers. And if you are a woman or if you talk to other women, this is a very common problem because the white trousers show a lot, show more than they should be showing. And that's why a lot of women are avoiding them. And that's how Spanx started. Spanx started because she was a frustrated client. She invested that money, she created a product that initially solves her problem, and then she started selling it to other women. She understood her client because she was that client. This is the idea of I see you client. She understood it, and it was that pain that is very common and a lot of women are feeling it. She solved that problem and very well done. She became a billionaire. The third element of a pull marketing strategy is that you need to realize that without an offer, you have nothing. A solid offer is your starting point because it doesn't matter how many people you attract unless you are able to end that cycle between you and your client by offering them something. All your pulling and all your content marketing and everything else will not matter. You have to have an offer, and that's the beginning and the starting of your selling. So you can offer free content and advice and so on, but it's not gonna result in business unless you have made an offer. I would suggest that once you've nailed your niche, you know who you're talking to, you've decided on, okay, the language that you're gonna use, all of this is gonna be available and we'll go through it through the Niche It free masterclass or free training. Sit down and nail your offer. Someone might ask me, what do you mean by a solid offer? And I would be like, thank you. That's a good question that I was ready for. What is a solid offer? A solid offer is basically where most people fail, often before they even start. Because they go like, well, no one is interested in my service, or I can't find anyone, I can't find clients, I can't build a business. Not knowing that the reason that they can't find is because they have not perfected their solid offer yet. So if you are at that place where you feel that, yeah, you can help people, you have something to share, but you didn't sit down and write that offer, which says how you're going to help them, what is your program, what is the shape of your program, what is it going to be, an online course, is it going to be a coaching program, what are you going to provide in it, how are you going to help these people exactly? What are the topics you want to cover? What is the concept? What is the straightforward problem that you are tackling? Unless you've sat down and written an offer, a good offer, and then tweaked it and then worked on it and applied everything that I'm gonna mention here and the elements that make a solid offer, you cannot say that you failed. The second element that I need you to understand, because if you get this right, you are getting closer to understand what a solid offer is. What you think is a problem worth solving isn't necessarily one for me. But if you can promise me to solve my problem, I will pay. Let me say that again. What you think is a problem worth solving isn't necessarily one for me. But if you can promise me to solve my problem, I will pay. Let's explain this. This is James, and James has a big nose. James is happy with his nose. But this is Jessie. And Jessie also has a big nose. Now, Jessie feels like her big nose is a problem. She feels like that's why people don't accept me. I hate all my photos. I can't even take photos. I just feel like I have this monster on my face. I don't like it. She feels that her nose is a problem. She wants a smaller nose. Now, I am a plastic surgeon. My job is to help people with big noses make it smaller. So, who do you think is more likely to pay me money to get a nose job? Would it be Jessie or James? Remember that Jessie feels like her big nose is a problem and she wants a smaller nose. It means she's looking for a solution. She's willing to invest in it. She wants the change compared to James, who, yes, he has a big nose, but it's not a showstopper for him. It's not a big deal. Yes, so what that I have a big nose? Like, it doesn't matter. I can still smell and I'm okay. I think it's even stylish. So let's focus here on Jessie, because Jessie is the one who feels like her big nose is a problem, and I'm a plastic surgeon, and that is my job, and I can help her solve her problem. So Jessie is obviously more likely to buy from me. And the keywords here that I have used is that she has a problem and she wants a solution. And to be more realistic about it, in life, it's not just two keywords. There are more keywords that indicates that this is your right client. They have a problem, they want a solution, they are willing to solve it. Because sometimes there could be somebody who has a problem and they want a solution, but they're lazy. They're not willing to do the work. They just want their problem to disappear and they're all whining about it and complaining about it. So your client needs to be willing. They have to also trust you. If I'm a plastic surgeon and I don't have a good reputation, Jessie might not feel like coming to me. She might feel like, yeah, I have a problem, but I'd rather stay with my big nose than getting into even more trouble with this surgeon that I have no idea about. I just don't trust him. He has bad reviews in Google. And they also need to believe that they need help. It is a valid scenario that some people feel like they have a problem, they want a solution, they're willing, and yeah, they trust you, but they feel like they can do it themselves. When your client feels that they need help, that's when they will be ready to buy from you. For example, before I got help with the online course creation, I spent few years trying to do it myself because I was like, yeah, I can do it. I have an MBA. I will start with this YouTube thing. I will build audience, and I was a product manager for a long time. I can design my own products, so this is something that I can nail. It's no problem. But then once I started with the real experience, I realized that there are a lot of gray areas. Doesn't matter where I'm starting from or who I was. I reached a point where I believe that yes, I need help. I have some gaps that I need some help with. I need to get me some public speaking coaching, and I need to understand social media marketing and some design and some Instagram and some course creation techniques and and sales and all that. I need to fill these gaps. That's when I went and I got help, and that's how I accelerated my success to move from point A, where I wanted to do something and I realized that I had the problem and all that, and I wanted to help people, to point B, where I'm actually helping people because I came up with my own methodology to help that works, that now, okay, people are implementing it and it works for them. And then it's just a snowball effect. It keeps on going on and on and on. You help more and more and more people, and you refine it as you go. Let's focus here on Jessie and try to understand it. She's got all the right keywords, all the right feelings and everything, and she's ready. What is she ready for? She is ready for my service. And for me to be able to translate to her that I'm the right person to you, I need to give her a promise. I need to make her an offer with a price balance. It means that she needs to believe that the offer that's on the table is bringing her value in response to the promise that I made. When all that is in balance, she will gladly take out her credit card and pay me, and she will be thrilled and happy that she got her problem solved. So if you think about it, a client wanting a solution would pay you money in response to you helping them with their problem, and that's when you will receive your payment. So it's kind of a satisfaction relationship between the service provider, being you, and your client. The client has to want a solution, and you need to help them, and then he pays you, and that's how you receive your money. We will talk more about promise and the offer and the price balance and Teach It. Make sure that you watch the next video where I tell you exactly how you can access Teach It for free. I think that Teach It is super important because that is your first step towards everything you're looking for. So let's go back to what we were explaining. I was saying what you think is a problem worth solving is a necessary one for me. Remember we talked about Jesse and James, and how for James, I might have thought like, oh, he has such a big nose, he needs to get a nose job. But for James, that wasn't even a problem, right? So what I thought is a problem is a necessary one for James. But if you can promise me to solve my problem, if I'm Jesse and you're the plastic surgeon, and you can promise me that you will solve it, you'll give me a good nose job with no other health implications, it will be a clean operation, I will recover fast, I will have the result that I wanted, then I will gladly pay. And that's what we have just explained. And you will find more details about this in Niche It. Make sure to watch the next video where you learn how you can access Niche It for free. The last point of a solid offer is that you need to experiment and tweak. It is almost non-existing that you create an offer and it just works from the first time. Most people will tell you that they kept on tweaking their offer until they nailed it. And we're so lucky today because there is social media and we're receiving direct feedback from our clients. You know, when you're starting out and there are these 3 or 4 people who keep on asking you questions, this is the juicy stuff. This is how you're getting your feedback to tweak your offer. That's the whole point of starting a dialogue on social media, because you want to have more eyeballs on you, but you also want those eyeballs to speak to you, to validate the problems that you think they're going through, to teach you what language you should be using when you address them, what are their pain points. Definitely experiment and tweak. These are things that you have got to do. You have to do these things. You have to experiment and tweak until you figure out what your solid offer is. And you will know when your offer becomes solid, because that's when the snowball effect starts rolling. That's when you're gonna have a lot of people interested, and you're gonna be like, oh, so it works. That's when it works, by having a solid offer. So be patient and experiment and tweak. That's why experience is important, because the difference is when you get help and when you have somebody who can tell you what to tweak. Is it the title of your landing page that you need to tweak? Is it the focus and direction? Is it something in the language that you need to tweak? Is your process too complicated? When you have guidance, it is so much easier to shorten the time of your experimenting and tweaking, because they already have experience from other people. They already have a perspective to the market, and they already know, so they can help you achieve your goal way faster. So summary of a solid offer is, it is where most people fail, often before they start. And what you think is a problem worth solving isn't necessarily one for me. But if you can promise me to solve my problem, I will pay. And then the third thing, and that I think is super important, is to experiment and tweak. My call to action for you is to remember that the key to success is to niche down, figure out where your clients are hiding, validate the problems, get the proper pricing, and then get a solid offer. All these things that you can get in Niche It. So since I mentioned Niche It so much, let me just take a moment here to explain it. This free training, the Niche It free training, is a detailed interactive training that will help you to nail down your niche and to figure out who your ideal client is and where they're hiding. Because you might know who your ideal client is, but you have no idea how to access them. I mean, the internet is big, is huge. So where can you find these people? And how to tone your message to address them, and how to price properly, and pretty much so much more. So this is definitely your first step towards success. In the next video, I will be sharing with you how you can access Niche It. I'm gonna share a code, and using that code, you will be able to access Niche It for free. So watch till the end as I release the code. Alright, so now back to secret number 2, because we've discussed a lot of things in, I think, a good level of depth. And my intention for you is by now to be clear about the pull strategy and to know what you need to do next. In secret number 2, remember, secret number 2 was that your clients already exist, you just need to pull them in. And we talked about the pull strategy. We talked about disturbing, how to disturb, how to get heard in the market, about the I see you client-focused relationship marketing that you're gonna use through your content marketing. And we talked about the fact that without an offer, you have nothing, and that a solid offer is your starting point, and that your first step towards success is to identify your niche and figure out where your ideal client is hiding. And you can do this through the step-by-step masterclass Niche It. And then the last thing, I told you that if you want to have a free access to Niche It, I'm going to release a code by the end of this training, which means in the next video, well, I'll tell you exactly how to access Niche It. By now, you know 2 secrets. Secret number 1 is that everyone can do it if they have the correct formula. And I need you to hold into this secret, because I'm going to reference it in the future, and because you need to understand that it's doable. It's doable. You can do it. The formula isn't complicated. It's just few steps that you need to get right. Secret number 2 is that your client already exists. You just need to pull them in. And I hope that going through this presentation in the level of depth that we have been through, I hope that by now you understand that you need to change your perspective about your clients. You need to know that they already exist. Now you just need to hook them in to get them in to become your customers. I want to leave you with a practical call to action. Just realize that attending Nietzsche, you'll be helping yourself, and that I'm going to release the code at the end of this presentation. Sorry, at the end of the whole training. We still have secret number 3 to go through. I hope that this has helped you to think about your clients differently and think about where they are, the fact that they already exist, and the fact that you just need to pull them. They are there. They're waiting for you. You just need to figure out how to talk to them and how to identify them. You know that the market is a place, and you just need to go there and find the right people. This for me was mind blowing, because once I realized that, I was able to utilize it in finding my clients who were already frustrated with other services. I found where they are, and I knew how to talk to them. If this was as useful to you, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will get back to you, and I will have your questions answered. Otherwise, let's move on to secret number 3.